Having reached the hour of 5:30 p.m., I am calling the March 7th, 2023 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ricci.
Present.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Here.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Stuart Welch Life Connection Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Council. Could you pray with me? Father, we do thank you being able to be here tonight. Thank you, Lord, for this council. Thank you for their service. Thank you for the members of this community that come with deep concerns and cares. And may you give us all this spirit of cooperation that we may work together in unity for the betterment of this city, for new residents like me and for historic residents who have grown up here. Praying for our firefighters who just recently responded to a call, our police officers lay down their lives each and every day. We're praying for all of our emergency first responders. And God, we just thank you for this night. In our Lord's name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Hearing item number 13 is being moved to a future council meeting and will be renoticed.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? Seeing none, will the city attorney report out on closed session?
Yes, Mayor. The council took no reportable action at today's closed session.
All right. First item on the agenda is number 1, proclamation declaring March as National Disability Awareness Month. I will read the proclamation. The City Council of the City of Modesto has recognized healthy communities as a priority, and disabilities can affect all people regardless of race, age, gender, or social status, and the essence of life is not embodied by physical and mental abilities, but is an integral part of the human spirit. And increasing public awareness about diverse abilities is vital to fighting the stigma and discrimination that often serve as a barrier to employment, socialization, and individual well-being. And within the next year, at least 1 out of 8 Californians will experience a disability personally or through a family member. And the city wants to celebrate and recognize people with different abilities. People with different abilities are independent, productive members of the community. Communities thrive when residents appreciate the unique gifts inside people of all abilities, and by developing relationships with our neighbors, we make our community a place where everyone participates and is a valued member. The Society for Disabilities will commemorate June 2018 and each June hereafter as Disability Awareness Month. Now, therefore, I, Sue Zwallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim March 2023 as Disability Awareness Month within the City of Modesto. And tonight, do we have Heather Santos, Executive Director of Disability Resources Agency for Independent Living, which is known as DRAIL, and Khalid Rashid, Systems Change Advocate, DRAIL. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Heather Santos. I am the Executive Director for Disability Resources Agency for Independent Living, also known as DRAIL. And here with me is Khalid Rashid, our Systems Change Advocate, and Liliana Altamirano, our Community Services Director. We want to start with saying thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak here today and to briefly share with you about DRAIL. DRAIL is the state-designated entity through the Department of Rehabilitation for Tuolumne, Calaveras, Amador, Mariposa, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin counties. We serve all individuals with a disability regardless of the type of disability or age. Drell has recently opened a small community center for persons with disabilities here in Modesto to give individuals a place to learn or relearn basic life skills, and to improve or maintain their independence through individual or group classes. Drell actively participates in the local homeless outreach efforts in coordination with the County Access Center and provides support to individuals with disability income advocacy. At Drell, we are so happy that Modesto is proclaiming March as National Disability Awareness Month, and we are looking forward to continuing our work with the City of Modesto and Stanislaus County on behalf of our constituency and people with disabilities to create more equitable and accessible spaces, not only in the month of March, but throughout the year. We want to thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much for being here this evening. And I will bring the proclamation down to present it to you. And if anyone would like to join me, everyone's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a proclamation declaring March as National Women's History Month. I will read the proclamation. American women of every race and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our city and nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And American women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of our city and nation, constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. And American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of volunteer labor force. And American women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. And American women of every race and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every progressive social change movement. And American women have been leaders, not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. And despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. The 2023 theme for Women's History Month is Celebrating Women Who Tell Our Stories. This theme recognizes women, past and present, who have been active in all forms of media and storytelling, including print, radio, TV, stage, screen, blogs, podcast, news, and social media. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim March as Women's History Month in the City of Modesto. And today, to accept the proclamation, we have Lori Carley, President of the Stanislaus County League of Women Voters. Welcome this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Zuwalin and council members for this honor and proclamation. On behalf of the behalf of the League of Women Voters of Stanislaus County and all women in Stanislaus County and other women's organizations, I'm honored to receive this proclamation for Women's History Month. As you may or may not know, and as Mayor Wallen just mentioned it, our roots are deep in the suffrage movement and making sure that all individuals are ensured the right to vote. And so our organization, as you know, is over 100 years old. I'm pleased to share that this year our local organization will be 75 years old, and we will be celebrating that in May. And for the next 75 years in Stanislaus County, which I may not get to see, but I assure you that the League of Women Voters of Stanislaus County will continue to fight for educating, informing, and having our community get out the vote. So thank you very much for this.
All right. Thank you for being here this evening, and I will bring the proclamation down and present this. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you very much. Appreciate it as well. Would you go like this? Would you go like that? Would you go like that? Thank you. Yeah.
You ready for our close session? Sure. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll shake it. All right, next is item 3, presentation on the Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority route changes by the Chief Executive Officer, Adam Barth. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members, good to be here tonight, and thank you for this time that have to talk with you about the route changes that we're doing on the bus system here in Modesto and throughout the county. So we did a bunch of route changes that happened over the weekend on Sunday, which improved transit services everywhere, including here in Modesto. So on the screen is just a map of the Modesto area and the routes that we have. That we have. I wanted to highlight a few that have made some significant changes to Modesto. There are a lot of the routes that haven't changed all that much. Oh, but
Sorry about that.
Oh, that was. It's all good. Just want to highlight just a few of the routes. On the east side of town, there's a great green line there. You see it on the right side of the map. It's a new route that's connecting the Empire into East Modesto, connecting Johansson High School and Enoch's High School, providing some critical links that we had requests for. Another route that we have linking downtown Modesto up Sisk Road and to the mall, then up by Kaiser Hospital and into Salida, linking Gregory High School as well. It's a new route that we've had many requests for more direct linkages to Kaiser Hospital and that part of Modesto. Then on the west and south side of Modesto, just a few routes there that we've changed due to feedback that we received from residents and riders in West and South Modesto was to connect riders in West Modesto more to the South Modesto area. And before there wasn't a direct link there, they'd have to transfer buses. And so there's a new route there that was restructured to provide that direct service. Along with that route, there's another route, it's blue on the south side of the map, or the bottom part of the map. Route 42 is a route that's been restructured a bit to provide better services on the south side of Modesto and to areas where those folks wanted to go. So those are kind of the main and the biggest changes that happened in Modesto. There are a lot of other changes that happened throughout the county to bringing people into Modesto, providing better service, both frequency to get buses more often in more places, but also introducing more Sunday service as well, which the rest of the county did not have. So it's a much better service now. We're getting lots of great feedback on the new route system. Moving on a bit, our route schedules have changed a bit, just the look and feel of them. We've moved from a ride guide, which had everything in it, to a route brochure, which is specific to each route. So if you only need one or two routes, you only need to carry those 1 or 2 brochures, and that's all that you need. And so it's reducing some of the waste that we've seen in the past. And quickly, just a reminder that fares on the bus are free for youth. If you're ages 0 to 18, it's free for you to ride the bus. MJC students are also free. And then if you want to ride the bus, everybody else, it's $2, and you get an all-day pass for that. Also, our ADA paratransit system has not changed. That still exists. No changes with that. It still encompasses the entire area of Modesto. And that's it, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here this evening. Are there any comments from council members? Question? All right, I don't see any at this time, but thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Great, thank
It'd be
you.
great to hear how the data going forward on how those improvements have changed, and hopefully ridership will increase.
Definitely.
So I wish you well. Thank you very much. This is the presentation only. Next on the agenda is item 4, consider accepting the resignation of Maya Ramirez from the City of Modesto's Equity Commission. Does council have any questions of staff regarding this? Eric Alvarez?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question regarding, for the public's knowledge, how many committee members are currently on the Equity Commission or committee now that this member is resigning?
Thank you for your question, Councilmember Alvarez. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So there are 11 seats on the Equity Commission, and this is one vacancy, so the other 10 seats are currently filled.
And so we're actively accepting applicants for that one more
Correct.
spot? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from council members? Any comments from the public regarding this item, item 4? Seeing none, comments from council members. All right.
I have
Go ahead.
Sorry, Christine, I'm probably going to have to pull you back.
Question?
Yeah, just for the public's knowledge, what exactly does the Equity Commission do, and what's its mission?
Yes, so the Equity Commission, what it does is it's part of our DEI program, and so we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion program that was adopted January 22nd of 2022. And the Equity Commission, what it does is it's an external component of our program, and what they do is they advise the city manager and council on practices, policies, procedures that we can maybe increase or improve in the areas of equity, inclusion, and diversity, both internally and externally. So we're looking at workforce-wise and also the services that we provide to the community.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, any other comments from council members? All right, I need a motion for a resolution accepting the resignation of Maya Ramirez from the City of Modesto's Equity Commission.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Alvarez,
Second.
second from Vice Mayor Ricky. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky,
Aye.
Councilmember Pivaro,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton,
Aye.
and Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, so the motion carries unanimously. Next is public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and each person has 3 minutes to speak. So far, I have 4 blue cards. Our first one in person is Greg. My understanding is you wanted to address item 16, but you needed to leave, so we will hear from you now.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Great, welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have supposed to be at work right now, actually, making electricity, so
Okay.
I wanted to get this done with. So
Okay.
I'm here for agenda item number 16. So my name is Greg McLinich. I worked for the City of Modesto for 8 years as a heavy equipment mechanic. I worked in the bus shop where we maintain the fleet of city buses and all the fire department apparatuses. I left the city last May to join Turlock Irrigation District as a gas turbine technician at one of their power plants. So I furthered my career in public service, only this time now I'm keeping the lights on instead of keeping vehicles rolling. So like I said, I'm here regarding agenda item number 16, the city's proposed use of the American Rescue Plan Act to fund hazard pay to employees who work during the COVID pandemic. Currently, the payout is proposed to only be given to employees who are still currently employed with the city. I feel that this is unfair to exclude former employees from this pay based on our employment status. We deserve to be shown the recognition for the risk we took and sacrifices we made during that time period, just as much as anybody that is still employed with the city. The city's HR director was quoted in the Bee saying all employees who worked through the pandemic did their part to deliver essential services to the community. We believe all employees deserve this recognition for the hard work they did. So my interpretation of that quote represents everybody, whether they're an employee that left to work somewhere else or retired. We deserve to be recognized as well. I was a brand new father when COVID started, and like any parent, my worst fear is having a sick newborn. So having a worldwide outbreak made it difficult to work on germ-filled city buses all day and come home to my new baby and wonder what germs that I might have brought home to her while I rocked her to sleep. But I still showed up every day and worked and kept the buses and fire trucks on the road. In fact, the bus shop was the only shop out of the 3 shops that did not take any days off or modify any scheduling during COVID. We just kept showing up and working while being understaffed with a large, complex fleet to maintain and no special compensation or recognition for our sacrifices. So now 3 years later, the city wants to show their appreciation with extra funding from the federal government to employees that worked during the time period. That appreciation should be shown to all who worked and took the risk and showed up, not just those still employed. It's unfair, unethical, and I'm not sure, but potentially even illegal to exclude those who have moved on to new employment or retired. So tonight I'm asking the council to not approve that resolution until it has been amended to reflect all who worked during the time period, not just those employed by the city still. So, thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. All right, next we will go online. Ramon Rodriguez.
Good evening, council members. The first speaker, I agree. Also, I read in Modesto beat that the hazard pay includes everyone, including city workers that make 6-figure salaries. I'm asking that you exclude those making 6-figure salaries and working at home and give those who are at the front line of the pandemic back then, like the last speaker spoke, and also including those who have left Modesto or retired, to also give the $7,500 bonus pay. All you gotta do is take away the $7,500 from people who make so much money, because the frontline essential workers are the real heroes of the pandemic. And also, I've checked again, the Kiera, I don't want to mess up her name, but the Tierra Kaylin incident, there's still no accountability. The people that posted on the Modesto Police Department's Instagram page still demanding justice for Tierra Kaylin, as well as accountability from Modesto Police Department, because they didn't do a good job supporting her when she was attacked, when she and her husband were attacked by those responsible in a car accident, and the drunk driver got away with it. Well, she suffered injuries and traumatizing effects from that incident that resulted in her husband being sent to jail and her having an eye injury. So from the next council meeting, I'm going to play a clip from her TikTok to tell why she is demanding accountability and justice. This is why Modesto Police Department is untrusted. And the funniest thing is, the last council meeting, you were awarded the best IT from the Municipal IT Association. Days later, Modesto PD's IT infrastructure were attacked by ransomware. And it took days until they informed the public that Modesto Police Department's computer networks were attacked. And this is beyond outrageous. They should have spent a lot of time informing the public in a timely manner and upgrading and keeping the infrastructure and software up to date, because ransomware and malware is not a good thing. So I demand justice for Tierra Kaylin, as well as Paul Chavez, Trevor Seaver, and Alonso Muniz, because they still haven't been deserve justice. All we want is accountability and cleaning up the warrior mentality culture that is the Modesto Police Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Tina Perez Tateo.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Nice to see you. It seems like it's been a long time. My name is Tina Perez Tateo, and I'm here to ask you all once again to please lift the ban on cruising. In June of this year, it'll be 1 year that we all decided to work together. We've had multiple meetings with all of you, including the chief, most of you also on one-on-one basis. We have excuse me, we have all worked very hard in trying different things to show you in our community that this is possible with very positive results. But here we are coming upon the 50th anniversary of American Graffiti, and the ban is still not lifted. We have a bill, AB 436, that we saw personally go into effect on February 6, 2023 in Sacramento. I was very proud to be part of that. That was an experience I'll never forget, you know. Anyways, it was introduced in Sacramento by our State Assembly member, David Alvarez, which will remove the authorization for local authorities to adopt rules and regulations by ordinance or regulation regarding cruising. On March 13th, AB 436 will be going to the Transportation Committee, and then after that, onto the Safety Committee. So Mayor and council members, please do what's right for all of us cruisers in Modesto. Instead of being forced by the state, let's do it for our town. I look forward to continuing to keep working with all of you on this matter, because cruising is not a crime. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next online, Respect.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Respect Us. You didn't say the whole thing, Sue. I would like to, before I head into my comments, which I have to rush, obviously, because you guys don't want to hear me talk, or you would give me more time. I just want to point out that every single one of those social movements that you referenced earlier, Sue, related to celebrating women, which I wholeheartedly agree with, every single one of those social movements involved standing up to corrupt power, confronting corrupt institutions. And let's not forget that. Let's not act like you're the heroes of those movements. But moving forward, that does bring us perfectly into what I had to talk about today. Because I just think we need to talk about respect in this community, and I think that we need to be reminded about the trauma that it inflicts on members of this community when our police officers are allowed to just shoot us dead without cause. I was appalled and sickened last week by the disrespect shown to the wife of Paul Chavez, who was murdered by Modesto police officer Sam Muncie. Councilmember Bavaro, how dare you ever in a million years pretend that you represent this people and that you serve us, and get up there and literally call the bereaved wife of a murder victim who was killed by our police stupid. I cannot think, and I dare not think, I bet you guys can prove me wrong, it's hard to imagine a worse disrespect coming from your seats of power. I just want to admonish you, Mr. Bavaro, and encourage you to please issue a public apology to Brittany for the disgusting, disrespectful behavior that you displayed toward her during the last city council meeting. This apology needs to be public. It needs to be issued from the same exact seat of power in which you sit right now, the same seat of power in which you sat when you mocked her while she talked about the effect of having her husband slain by our police. I agree with the statement that she was making when you called her stupid. I agree. Brandon Gillespie does bear a portion of the responsibility for Paul Chavez's death. as he does for every other victim of corruption and violence we see harmed by our police department and by our politicians that aid and abet their criminal activity. Nick, you need to apologize to Brittany, and you need to do it right away, and you need to do it from your seat of power publicly, because that's how you insulted her. I yield the remaining 5 seconds of my time to Nick so he can apologize.
All right. Thank you. Next in person is Nathan Sanchez.
Good evening, council, mayor. I'm going to hold up this flyer right here. It says classics, coffee, and cops. This was an event that the Modesto Cruisers Council and supporters of the council itself hosted this event last Saturday. We're well aware that right now the relationship between the public, between the police department has been fractured. Not just necessarily here at times in Modesto, but statewide and nationwide. We were moved to host this event, not to get an attaboy, not to necessarily get any brownie points or to get the police department's favor, but we hosted this event for one reason: to build bridges, to break down barriers between cultures, the cruising community, the police, and the citizens they serve. That right there was the main objective. That right there was our drive. We want to bring people together. We want to bring community together. We want to, it's not going to happen overnight, but we're well aware that it's going to be a building process. But the cruising community of Modesto and the surrounding cities want to lead the way. We want to be the ones that stand in the gap. We know that there's differences. We know that there's different opinions when it comes to the police department. But we're here saying, regardless, we want to support them in what way that we can. They were there, some of them were there from the beginning to the end and showing their support. We appreciate Councilman Alvarez, he went there as well. Councilman Bavaro, you went there as well to show support. And also, Mayor, we thank you guys as well. I don't know if you were there for the coffee or donuts, but some of us were. But thank you guys. And this is one of many events that we want to host, along with cruising events. We're looking down the road for that day where it is put on the agenda. And it, just like Tina said, it's been a little over or coming up on a year. We've been frustrated, anxious, at times impatient, but we'll keep pressing forward and do what's needed in order to get this cruising ban lifted. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next online, John Williams.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. First and foremost, I want to say justice for Paul Chavez and justice for Trevor Seaver. 2 wrongful deaths that the city of Modesto wants to cover up. I just want to start like I always do with the 3 names. Paul David Chavez III, Abraham, and Josiah. Paul was accompanied by his wife, his 3 beautiful boys, and a whole gang of family. He did nothing wrong. He had no weapon. He wasn't acting sporadic. He wasn't showing threatening signs. He wanted one thing and one thing only: to be helped, to be held. He wanted someone to understand what he was going through at that very moment. He wanted to be told that everything was going to be okay, son. Everything was going to be okay, honey. Everything was going to be okay, cousin. Hey, Dad, it's going to be okay. He was scared of you monsters. Not because he was doing anything wrong, but because he knew all about how the city of Modesto worked. I myself struggle from mental issues, severe depression, severe anxiety, bipolar disorder. Let's top it off, ADHD. I was that hyperactive little kid. I've had multiple run-ins with the police myself. Why did you not shoot and kill me? When I had a knife in my hand, or better yet, a baseball bat? Why wasn't I shot and killed when I physically threatened an officer to his face, and all he did was laugh it off like I was the common idiot? I truly want to know the differences, because we both had jobs. We both had wives. We both had lives. The same way. We both had goals. We both had dreams. Why not me? Wait, was it the fact that he had kids? Or was it the fact that the officers that dealt with my situation were properly trained, unlike yours? I will let you folks decide that answer. At the end of the day, we lost a father, a husband, a brother, a son, a cousin, an uncle, a nephew, a grandson, a best friend, and lastly, most importantly, a human being. And to me and my family, that is not okay, and nor will it ever be okay. We love you, Jay.
All right, Mr. Williams, your time's up, so
Might I have another 30 seconds if possible?
You need to finish your comments.
Understood. We love you, CJ. We'll keep your name alive, of course. We will get that justice. And of course, let's be polite, Modesto. It's very rude to call people stupid. Lastly, God bless Steve Allen, and let's let Modesto cruise. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Sebastian Jones.
Before you start that clock, Mayor, I'm not speaking. I'm speaking on the last time I was here. Don't start that clock. I need some clarification. 2 weeks ago I was here, and there was a comment over there that I'm not entitled to my 5 minutes. This city here has 2 doctor excuses, and the third one is on its way, and one with the state disability. I have one from UC Davis and one from the doctor in Modesto, and your third one is coming from UC Stanford. Now, Mayor, before we start that clock, please allow this. What are my minutes? This is what you call Disability Awareness Week. So can you give me some clarification?
I think you've been here, Sebastian. It's 3 minutes for everyone.
So you're denying me, due to my disability. Just a few minutes ago, you was talking about disability awareness. Now, I have a lot of witness in the state that I difficult because that deadly disease attacked me. So you're saying I got 3 minutes?
Everyone has 3 minutes.
I'm denied. Thank you. Can you start that clock at 3 minutes?
Sebastian, there's 48 seconds.
Ashton, can you start that clock? Because we just made an agreement. You're denying. So all I'm asking. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am here once again to talk about how I was disrespected because of my disability with Jeremiah Williams. What I'm going to do in the grace of God, I'm going to suspend that on 3 reasons. First one, God. Second, my wife tells me I won't last 3 months. I suffer a mild stroke for what they did to me. And third is that I heard a young man speak at the college. It made me change. I don't know what's going on with the clock. But I'm here to suspend that, Jeremiah. I don't normally give in. I'll go to the end. I'll just speak for a whole year.
All right, so your time is up, so finish your comments, please.
My time is up. I still had 2 minutes, man.
Yeah, go ahead, finish your comments.
Okay. It's so confusing. But it's okay. Jeremiah, we're going to suspend you and put you in the hand of God. When you wash, don't wash one hand, wash both. You owe me an apology. And I'll say this here. All 3 of you young men, what y'all done to me was wrong. And I know why. John Irvin, because he knew I've been speaking for 10 years at the school to get a school named after Martin Luther King. Mr. Evans, I sued him. And then, Jeremiah, you've been at me for almost 10 years. It's time to cut it out.
All right, Sebastian.
I'm going to pass time. So I'm going to tell you, Jeremiah, I'm going to get off of you. You owe me an apology. And let's move on. You never stop speaking to me. But I feel that I am wrongfully, and I'm going to say this, and you'll catch it later, that you denied me extra minutes. You better know what damn show you're getting into. Thank you. And I won't forget, and it's recorded, that you denied my disability. God bless you. And I apologize if I came down here and put on my clown suit. I do that. You mess with me, I'm going to put a clown suit on. Because I believe in speaking out.
Okay, Sebastian,
Thank you,
time's
Mayor.
up. Thank you. All right, next on line is Teresa Clutter.
Hello.
Hi, we're here.
Hello.
Hi there, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I am here for justice for Paul Chavez and the wrongful killing by Sam Muncy and Sergio Valencia, and still seeking accountability for this tragedy that has happened to our family. Today has been a very, very rough day for myself. And, you know, all it takes is a memory that pops up on your iPhone. And that changes your whole day. And you start reliving everything again and again. And then you sit here and wonder, why can't you begin to heal? It's because we have no closure. There's no closure for our family. There's no answers. There's no justice. There's no accountability. There's no anything for us. And we feel we're stuck in limbo. We can't move on. How dare us move on? And it's so unfair. It's so unfair that this happens to not just our family, but to the Siever family and to the Sutherland family. And there's so many families that are affected by police brutality, and there's still no accountability. If officers had accountability for the things that they did, they wouldn't be doing them. So I urge you to make your officers accountable for their actions. And this is something that we will never stop. We can't. And so although you may be tired of hearing it, you know, we get tired of saying it, but it still has to be said, and it still will be said. And for you, Council Member Bravaro, Nick, for you mumbling anything during my daughter's grieving moments is absolutely despicable, because you don't know what it's like to see your loved one killed in front of you and you can't comfort them. You can't even sit and pray with them. You can't ride in the EMT with them. You don't get any of that. And now you have to live with that. And so for you to say something so disrespectful in such a horrible situation is just disgusting to me. You know, our family may say things that are out of line, you know, but we're hurt and we're hurting, and we have every right to be hurting in this situation, and we're handling it the best that we know how.
Okay, Teresa,
you know,
your time is up. Teresa, can you finish your comments?
Yes. So again, justice for Paul Chavez, and please help us get accountability that is deserved.
All right, Deanna Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff. Thank you for all that you do for the City of Modesto, all the hard work and dedication that you put into making our city great to work and live. Appreciate all your time and effort that you put into our day-to-day life here in the City of Modesto. I'm the owner of Modesto Cannabis Collective. We're located on the west side of Modesto. And I just want to say thank you for bringing the equity program to the City of Modesto, the Cannabis Equity Program. And thank you for thinking about moving it forward. And I'd appreciate any help of relief that we can get for the gross sales tax that the business owners of the City of Modesto pay on cannabis. Right now it's at 8% of gross receipts, and it's on a sliding scale from 0 to 10. So really praying to God that you guys lowered it sometime soon. And just thank you for always being here and for your dedication.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next online, we have Brittany Chavez.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I mean, I had something written down until what my mom had to say, but I mean, she's absolutely correct. When my husband was shot within 26 seconds by murdering Muncie, I wasn't able to go up to him. I wasn't able to aid to him. I wasn't able to comfort him, to love him, to actually just do whatever I could to be like, it's okay, so that way he at least heard my voice, whether it was his time or not. Your officer did not give me anything, no type of closure. I asked to ride in the EFT, and they just looked at me and turned around. They told me that I could leave my house so that way I could talk and I could go back. And they didn't let me. It said I sat out there for hours while the ambulance just sat there. Again, not aiding to him. Your officers didn't aid to him. They stuck a patch on him. That's not aid. You just didn't want his blood to ooze out. Everything is on tape. Muncie, Valencia, everything is on tape. Gillespie, everything is on tape. Justice will be served. There is no way of getting around this. You've literally took everything away from me. I will not stop. I will never, ever stop. You guys thought 3, 6, 9 months, whatever, however long you think, take that out of your minds now. You guys want to give an airplane $741,000 and over $300,000 in maintenance. But y'all can't afford $120,000 for an outside auditor because you don't want your officers and your chief to be accountable. You don't want the police to be policed. We know that now. We see that now. The facts are there. Thanks, Ricky. Verbal abuse, you have no idea. Verbal abuse doesn't have nothing on what I am going through. So you just accept it and say, okay. Because I am torn. You can sit there, all of you, and say that you're doing everything that you can in your power, but truth is, you're giving your money to everything but what needs to be done and right. The last thing that I would like to say, oh my gosh. Bavaro, for you to utter and say stupid, that's fine. You can say whatever you want because obviously that just makes everything that we are saying and doing factual. That you guys do not care. There will never be reform, that you stand by murderers and killer police. You have a pastor or priest that go in there and prays over you to protect you, for you guys to make better decisions.
Brittany,
But that's how
Brittany,
you treat everybody else. That's not okay.
please finish your comments. Your time is up.
Okay, I'll finish my comments. Bavaro, I may be a lot of things. Yeah, stupid might be one of them. But at least I ain't no bitch, and I stand up for what's right.
All right.
Bye!
Next, Dr. Teresa Rojas. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Teresa Rojas, and I am a professor of English and the first professor of ethnic studies at Modesto Junior College. And I'm here today as the director of the Latinx Comic Arts Festival. This is our 4th year, and it's our 2nd year in person, and it's our biggest festival yet. And I'm here to invite the mayor, council, and managers to the festival and to let you know that we're at capacity. So this has become super popular this year, and we have 50 tables. So the Latinx Comic Arts Festival is the California Central Valley's only celebration of Latino comic arts. It's an international festival this year. We have some folks coming from Mexico City. We have folks coming from across the country, from New York City, and they're coming to Modesto, which I think is really exciting. So we have the 50 tables that are full, but we also have our car show, the lowrider exhibit on Saturday. And this is a very big deal for us because not only is it the biggest car show that we've ever had? We will have about 100 or more cars. I'm not entirely sure where we're going to put everyone just yet. But I have been working with a wonderful member of the community who you heard from earlier, Nason Sanchez, and he is my lowrider exhibit coordinator for the festival. And he's just an amazing person to work with. And this year we have something new, and this was Nason's idea. He came to me and he said, what if we did a bike build, a lowrider bike build? And then, because I said, let's think about maybe some kind of scholarship opportunity. So he thought about it, and I said, I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know how to do that. But I reached out to the Dean of Career Technical Education, and he said, let me talk to some of our professors. And we got a professor who said, let me talk to a student. And that student said yes and recruited another student. So we'll be doing a bike build this year. We'll have a bike there Friday and Saturday. And we're doing a raffle. So you can get a ticket, possibly win a bike, and then the lowrider folks are going to turn that into the beginning of a scholarship for our auto tech students. So that's really important. We're bringing together the comic arts folks and our lowrider folks. And we also have, for the first time, 2 panels with members of our lowrider community on them. And I believe one of them is Councilman here, Councilman Alvarez, who will be on a panel called Lolos con Libros, meaning lowrider folks who are reading comics, and then we're going to discuss them in a panel. And then we're also going to do an art panel. So I invite you all to attend. You have the information, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment? I do not see anyone in person. Is there anyone online? I do not see any hands raised, but there are none. All right. All right, we will close public comment period. Next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? I do not see any names on the screen. Is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed for consent for further discussion or comment? I do not see any hands raised online. I'm getting the nod. No one online to remove anything from consent. So will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 5, consider approving the minutes from the February 28, 2023 council meeting. Item 6, consider approving the recommended budget adjustments to fiscal year 2022-2023 annual operating and CIP program budgets. Item 7, consider approving an informational report for the January 2023 accounts payable payment register and void report. Item 8, consider an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 1 of Title 3 of the Modesto Municipal Code, amending the city's fire code to adopt the 2022 California Fire Code. Item 9, consider approving a lease agreement for golf carts to EZ Go, a division of Textron, Inc. out of Mira Loma, California, for a total amount not to exceed $661,634 over 4 years. Item 10, consider approving an agreement with Sherwood Design Engineers, Ltd. to prepare construction documentation for the Tuolumne River Regional Park Riverwalk Trail Gateway to Legion project for a total amount not to exceed $495,689. Item 11, consider approving a payment to W.C. Maloney out of Stockton, California for emergency work related to the demolition of Dryden Golf Course Clubhouse for a total amount not to exceed $74,873. And item 12, consider approving an agreement with Stanislaus County for city staff to perform engineering review and construction inspection services relating to the West Modesto County Area 9 sewer infrastructure for an amount not to exceed $225,000.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
All right, have a motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Was that from Councilmember Alvarez? Second from Councilmember Alvarez. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so the motion carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports? Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two comments. Councilmember Jeremiah Williams is not only my colleague on the Modesto City Council, he is my longtime friend, and I'm proud to call him my brother. Councilmember Jeremiah Williams is a man of deep faith, strong character, and impeccable integrity. The words I heard tonight and in other previous council meetings do not match up with the actions of this man, Councilman Jeremiah Williams. My second comment, Mayor, I did not say what I'm being accused of by some people here the public speakers. What I did say on February 28th council meeting after a speaker referred to our police chief as, and I quote, "He's not a police chief, he's a piece of shit cop," was, okay, that's enough. That is my comments that I have on YouTube. That's enough. If there's any doubts about what I said, please review the February 28th City Council video and go to 26 minutes and 48 seconds, and you can hear my comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members or reports? Councilmember Ricky or Vice Mayor Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. Last week we had a really successful council workshop. I want to thank the mayor and city staff for putting it together. I really enjoyed spending time with my fellow council members and with the staff, working together to chart a hopeful path for our city. Some of the things we talked about included the future of McHenry Avenue and what that might look like. We talked about homelessness and some innovative solutions like the Destiny Moves program maybe, or building on the success of the Downtown Streets team. And we spent time looking at big things that could make our community better, like the possibility of an airport that has regular flights connecting Modesto to the world, or Modesto's need for more community-based media that could create local content that doesn't hide behind a paywall. I just really appreciate the opportunity to work on the strategic plan and to talk to our fellow council members to continue to make our city better. Thanks.
Any other council member reports? Jeremiah Williams.
First, thank you, Mayor. I want to thank my fellow council person, Councilmember Nick Bavaro, for the comments. I appreciate his sentiments. Friday night, we had the opportunity, the mayor and I, to give a certificate to the Sankofa Theater Company, which is the first African-American theater company in Stanislaus County. They celebrated 10 years with their performance of the piano lesson at the Gallo Center. And I think it was great that we had the opportunity to acknowledge their 10 years of service to this community in theater. And lastly, I do also share the same sentiments with Vice Mayor Ricky, that we did have a very thorough, enjoyable retreat, and we were able to openly, candidly talk about most of the things that affect this community and how we can better that standing. So again, thank you, Mayor, as well as our city manager and all of those who put that retreat together. It was a success. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments? Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. Once again, I had mentioned last week in my council comments, but the City of Modesto is still accepting applicants for the Measure H Oversight Board. And board members will play a critical role in ensuring voter-approved funds are being spent appropriately and I will continue to encourage folks from District 2 to apply so that we can continue to advocate for equitable distribution of resources across the city of Modesto. So far, we do have a few interested folks from District 2, but I have yet to see any applications. So I'd like to see those folks submit those apps as soon as possible. I believe the deadline, priority deadline rather, is March 13th. Also, switching gears a little bit, the city has a homeowner repair assistance program. Eligible residents may apply for low-income loans and grants to make health, safety, and beautification repairs to their home's exterior. This is possible with funding from the American Rescue Plan Act, or otherwise known as ARPA. The City of Modesto has expanded its current homeowner repair assistance program. And so the program expansion provides additional financial and technical assistance to repair or eliminate health and safety hazard conditions and assist in the beautification and sustainability of more homes in Modesto. Also, another point I want to make, in my budget priorities, I've requested to allocate at least $25,000 for interpreter services at commissions, boards, and committee meetings as needed. And what that is intended to do is to create a more inclusive environment for folks who are participating in boards, committees, or commissions. We hope to have translators so that way folks are not barred from actively participating because they do not speak English. So I encourage folks to apply, again, to commissions, boards, and committees, and we will have a fully inclusive environment for them to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. My comments are referring to some things that have already been mentioned, but noteworthy with our workshop. We participated as a council and did a survey previous to the workshop, and I believe that it's noteworthy that it was done anonymously, but when we all expressed our priorities and our goals, they all matched up. And primarily they are taken from what the residents of this community said were priorities regarding Measure H. And so that was enlightening to me and good to know. I think that speaks well for our council and the unity and efforts that we're putting forward now and in the future. I thoroughly enjoyed attending Sankofa Theater to celebrate their 10-year anniversary. I remember when the theater group began, and it's hard to believe it's been 10 years, but they have given a lot of their time and effort in entertaining our local community. I was able to speak last weekend to a group of retired educators that were just interested in what we're doing in the city of Modesto, and it was really delightful to spend time with them. Last weekend, I was able to attend the Modesto Police Officers Association installation dinner, which was a beautiful event. Several other council members were with me, and it was an honor to attend that event and to be invited to attend. I just returned from Southern California for a STANCOG, Stanislaus Council of Governments, which is an agency that works on transportation and roads for our county. As city council members, 3 from the city of Modesto are on that board as well as on this council, so we put a lot of time and effort into improving our roads and transportation. I learned a lot at this conference. It's the first time I attended a STANCOG conference, and I look forward to representing us well. On that board also sits Rosa Escudia-Brayton, Councilmember Escudia-Brayton, and Councilmember David Wright, and Councilmember Eric Alvarez is an alternate. And so far, they were appointed and have attended every meeting, including Eric as an alternate. So I'm really thankful for our council and for the time and effort and work and support that they give to our community. That concludes my comments. Any other council member comments? All right. Does the city manager have any comments and reports? None at this time. So next on the agenda is hearings. Note that item 13 is being moved to a future council meeting. So we will go to item 14. This is a hearing to consider approving the issuance of bonds by the California Municipal Finance Authority for the benefit of Marple Manor RHF Partners, LP, a California limited partnership, and an organization described in Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide for the financing of the project for the purposes of satisfying the requirements of the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act of 1982, the Internal Revenue Code, and California Government Code Section 6500. Go ahead for our staff report.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. We are here this evening to conduct a public hearing pursuant to the Federal Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, or what's referred to as the TEFRA. TEFRA requires that a public hearing be held by the governing body of the jurisdiction in which a project to be financed with tax-exempt financing is located, and that governing body must approve the proposed financing. The Retirement Housing Foundation has asked the California Municipal Finance Authority, or what's referred to as CMFA, to be the issuer of the tax-exempt financing in the amount not to exceed $30 million. The CMFA is a joint power authority formed to assist local governments, nonprofit organizations, and businesses with issuance both taxable and for tax-exempt debt. The debt to be issued by the CMFA will be the sole responsibility of the borrower, and the City of Modesto will have no financial or legal obligation or responsibilities in regards to the repayment of this debt. All financing documents will carry disclaimers that the loan is not an obligation of the city. The city will also bear no costs in the issuance of the proposed debt. These bonds will finance the acquisition, rehab, improvement, and equipping of the multifamily rental housing development known as Marple Manor, located on 530 Coffee Road, Modesto, California. These capital improvements for this project would continue to provide the affordable housing requirements for these units and would extend these requirements as well. The total number of units that is associated with this project is 146. And I won't repeat the resolution, but we're recommending City Council adopt a resolution to adopt the issuance of this bond to the benefit of the borrower and adoption as proposed and satisfied under the requirements of the TEFRA hearing. I also want to mention we do have representatives from the borrower, Kevin Gilchrist, and Anthony Stubbs from CMFA that is available through Zoom. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for that presentation. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none at this time. Oh, go ahead, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. What type of work are they going to be doing on these residents?
I'm going to actually, if we can let, I believe it's Kevin.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're on.
Okay. This is Kevin Gilchrist from the Retirement Housing Foundation. The work is going to entail, we're doing about close to $95,000 a door in rehab. So we'll be replacing all the cabinets, all the appliances, all the flooring. We'll be making sure the property is now up to ADA, the current ADA requirements, new roofs, windows, mechanical systems, replacing the existing plumbing in the building. The properties now are, pushing 35 years old and are in need of major renovation. So elevator systems will be done.
Follow-up question would be, are you going to be displacing any of the elderly residents?
No, in fact, what we have been doing is as units have become vacant, as just tenants have moved out, we've been holding those units empty and we will use those as temporary relocation units. So we've contracted out with a relocation firm to bring in movers to assist the tenants in packing their possessions. They'll be moved to one of the temporary units on site for about 4 weeks while their unit is rehabbed. We'll then return them back to their unit.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, any other questions from council members? All right, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item, item 14? I do not see anyone online, or excuse me, in person. Is there anyone online? No hands raised in Zoom, so I will close the public comments. Are there any council members that would like to make comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion. This is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Modesto pursuant to Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, approving the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bonds by the California Municipal Finance Authority to finance or refinance the acquisition, rehabilitation, improvement, and equipping of the Marple Manor project and certain other matters relating thereto. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Williams.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Scudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky. Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Wallen.
Aye. This is carries unanimously. Next is item 15, hearing to consider approving the issuance of bonds by the California Municipal Finance Authority for the benefit of Ralston Tower, RHF Partners LP, a California limited partnership and an organization described in Section 5013C of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide for the financing of the project for the purpose of satisfying the requirements of the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act of 1982, the Internal Revenue Code, and California Government Code Section 6500. All right, we'll turn it over to our Director of Finance, Deanna Christensen.
All right, so here's the second project, very similar in nature. So we're here again to conduct a public hearing in pursuant to the TEFRA requirements. And again, under this public hearing, we're required to have the governing body of the jurisdiction in which the project is financing, the tax-exempt financing location, be the governing body to approve the proposed financing. Similar, Borrower Retirement Housing Foundation has asked CMFA to be the issuer of the tax-exempt financing in the amount to not to exceed $30 million. Again, CFMA is the joint power authority to assist local governments, nonprofits, organizations, businesses in regards to issuance of taxable and tax-exempt bonds. Same requirements would be defined in regards to the debt is issued by CMFA solely as the responsibility of the borrower, and the City of Modesto will hold no financial or legal obligation or responsibility related to the repayment of this debt. All financing documents will carry disclaimers that the loan is in no way obligated by the City of Modesto. And again, the city will bear no cost in the issuance of the proposed debt.
All right, any questions?
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mayor, a little bit more. The bonds will finance similar the acquisition, rehab improvements, equipping a multifamily rental housing development known as the Ralston Tower located on 917th Street here in Modesto. These capital improvements will again continue to ensure the affordable housing requirements of these units, and the total units for this project is 178. And similar to the last one, we have representatives from the borrower as well as CMFA if there's any questions associated with this project.
Thank you. Any questions from council members? David Wright.
Yes, I have the same questions for the Ralston Towers partnership that I did for the previous one.
Kevin, can you please provide the specifics in regards to the capital improvements for this project?
Sure. It's very similar to what we're doing at the other property. They're mirror images of each other, so we'll be replacing all the existing cabinets, flooring, appliances, and units, updating mechanical systems, elevators, roofs, windows, and same with the relocation. We're holding units empty in order to temporarily relocate our tenants on site so the seniors are not displaced.
So my next question would be, are both of these projects owned by the same partnerships?
No, they're owned by two separate nonprofits that RHF is the sole member of. In order to make the tax credit program work, we'll end up transferring these properties by a sale to a partnership of which RHF will be, the RHF nonprofits will be the managing general partners of, and we'll be bringing in a tax credit investor to buy the tax credits.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Vice Mayor Ricky.
Yeah, thanks. Kevin, my question is a little bit similar to Dave's in the sense that is this project going to change the intent of Ralston Towers? Yeah, because...
No,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. This will actually extend the affordability. We'll be entering into a new 55-year use agreement with the state. HUD is providing us with a new 20-year HAP contract to continue providing subsidies to these tenants. So in fact, we'll actually be preserving this housing and extending the affordability for these low-income seniors.
That's awesome. And so the primary target market for the housing is going to be seniors? It's going to continue to be, I should say.
And those that are 50% or below of AMI under the Section 8 program.
So it'll be a little of both?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, there will be no market rate. It's going to be just 62 and over, and the entire building will be a low-income property.
Excellent. That's helpful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, any more questions from council members? Seeing none, I'll now open the public hearing. I'd like to ask members of the public to come forward if anyone would like to speak on this item. This is item 15. I do not see anyone in person. I want to confirm if there's anyone on Zoom. Not seeing anyone at this time, so I will close public comments. Are there any further comments from council members? Sounds like a great plan, something that we need and will be very helpful to a lot of people. All right, let me get back to my, what I want to say. I need a motion for a resolution of the City Council of the City of Modesto pursuant to Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, approving the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bonds by the California Municipal Finance Authority to finance or refinance the acquisition, rehabilitation, improvement, and equipping of the Ralston Tower project and certain other matters relating thereto. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Vice Mayor Ricky, a second by Councilmember Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So the motion carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is new business, item 16. Consider approving the use of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds, to provide funding for hazard pay to employees in the total amount of $6,705,000 and to amend the fiscal year 2022-23 non-capital operating budget to create a non-capital project budget in the American Rescue Grants Fund. And I will turn the time to Christina Alger, our Director of Human Resources. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Christina Alger, Director of Human Resources. And so this item is to bring forward a request for hazard pay for city employees related to the pandemic. So a little bit of background. The American Rescue Plan Act is a $1.9 trillion emergency relief measure providing relief to address the impacts of COVID-19 on the American public, including first responders, frontline health workers, teachers, local governments, and other vital services. These were people who were provided essential services which were required to continue while working with others, while they were working with others, and while others were confined to their homes. Sorry about that. $130 billion of this fund was allocated to cities and counties. So the City of Modesto was allocated just under $46 million. The city embarked on creating a plan to use these funds within our community. The majority of the funds have either been expended or allocated for public health and safety expenditures, community programs to assist individuals and businesses in recovering from the impacts of the pandemic. The city wanted to ensure we had both short-term and long-term plans to maximize the one-time allotments. Although the city had not allocated funds to compensate employees, this is an allowable expense under the ARPA guidelines. ARPA guidelines state that premium or hazard pay is designed to compensate workers that, by virtue of their employment, were forced to take on additional burdens and make great personal sacrifices as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the discussion on this item, The City of Modesto continued to provide all essential services to the community, and employees continued to interact with the public and with each other during a time of uncertainty. Employees faced the possibility of contracting a virus which little was known. They not only remained committed to the community during the height of the pandemic, but also stayed with us through the changing landscape of the environment. Many employees, both public and private, made life-changing decisions regarding employment and chose to exit. We would not be able to do what we do without our amazing staff working hard every day. They make services like safety, water, infrastructure, community programs, and city operations possible. Every employee is vital to delivery of these services. So I mentioned earlier that the majority of ARPA funds have been expended or allocated to community services. There are approximately $8.2 million that were set aside as reserve funding. Although some of these funds will be used for additional services, many agencies have compensated employees for their sacrifice through the last few years and their continued commitment to the agency and to the work that they do every day. The City of Modesto has long wanted to show our employees how valued they are. They have always come to the aid of the city in trying times and helped us keep our city going. Staff recommends utilizing some of the remaining funds to compensate City of Modesto employees for their hard work and commitment. So before you here, you see our payment structure. So the staff and union partners work together to determine what an appropriate structure that would fairly recognize and reward employees would be. And so the slide before you shows how that would work. So employees who worked full-time during the below eligibility periods and who are still employed with the city would receive these payments as they show on the slide. So we have April 1st of 2020 through March 31st of 2021 would be a payment of $3,000. April 1st of 2022 through March 31st of 2022, or I'm sorry, 2021 to 2022, another $3,000 payment. And then the final one would be April 1st of 2022 through September 30th of 2022, and that would be $1,500. So employees could be eligible for one, two, or all three of these payments. Oh, hang on. That one too fast. So our fiscal impact. So the chart below illustrates the number of employees eligible for each payment. Staff recommends payment in one lump sum if council is to approve this item tonight, not to exceed $6,705,000. So the staff recommendation is before you on the slide, approving a resolution allowing the use of the American Rescue Plan Act funds to provide the funding for hazard pay to employees in the total amount of $6,705,000 and to amend that fiscal operating budget. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have at this time.
All right, thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions from council members? I see Council Member David Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. So Christina, one of my questions is, number one, I know we have a breakdown for hazard pay for depending on when they started.
Correct.
So employees that retired in the middle of the COVID, why are we not giving them the same as new employees that came on?
So, well, it's not really new employees that came on, so it would be anybody who worked during those time periods. The caveat to it is that they would still have to be currently employed, and that was actually something that was negotiated between us and the unions. So typically you wouldn't see agencies pay out to employees that have already left the agency. That's pretty standard.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to have a couple of clarifications so there's no misunderstanding on exactly where these funds come from and how they apply to our general fund. So these funds that we're talking about coming from the American Rescue Plan Act funds, which is one-time monies from the federal Treasury sent to, in this case, the City of Modesto. It is not any operating funds through the general fund. It's not sales tax. It's not property tax funds. Am I correct?
That is correct. It's coming straight from the ARPA funds specifically.
And specifically, we recently passed Measure H. This is not coming from any Measure H funds, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions from council members? Councilmember Alvarez.
I think it's already been touched upon, but for the gentleman who was here earlier at the beginning of the night, no longer, and obviously others, what is the answer to those folks who were employed during this period of time but now no longer work, either A, retired, or B, took another position somewhere else?
So that would be a decision for council if you would decide to amend this item in some way, shape, or form. That would be something that you obviously could definitely decide to do.
Has staff run an analysis on how many folks exactly we're talking here?
Yes, and so I do have some numbers on that. If we're talking specifically retirees, we have about 89 retirees that would qualify for some or all of the amount that's being allocated during this time period. So that would cost an additional probably about $522,000. If we're talking just previous employees who left employment to go to other employment, we have approximately 202 that could possibly, qualify for some or all. And so I'd have to do the rule analysis to come up with an actual dollar amount. But if I applied the same formula that the retirees came out to, it would probably cost about $1.2 million to cover those previous employees, not including the retirees.
And have we conducted an analysis on what other municipalities are doing or have done in this vein?
Yes, and so other municipalities did pay out to currently employed employees. And so, for instance, if an employee even was there during the time when it was negotiated, if the payment happened at a later date and that employee left prior to that date of payment, they would forfeit that payment. So that's pretty standard.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Councilmember Wright.
I have a follow-up question. So if we approve this tonight, and it's probably a question for Jose, could we come back and look at retirees at a different date?
Yes. If that's the council's direction, that's something staff could definitely look at, and that would be a decision for later, if that's what the council wants.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a question, Mayor.
Councilmember Escudero. Well, I had
And then
Councilmember
Bavaro.
Bavaro already,
No,
so
go ahead.
I'll take.
Please, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilmember Escudero Brayton.
Is there a deadline, or are we under some type of time frame?
There isn't necessarily a deadline for the payment, but if you would want me to come back with a separate item for the rest of the population, we can certainly do that. It's up to you how you want to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The process by which it was negotiated for these American Rescue Fund monies to go to full-time employees, that was negotiated by you with all 5 unions, am I correct?
That's correct.
And so, would the process be, rather than the council making that decision, should it not go back to those 5 unions and yourself to discuss possibly the people who retired? Or are you asking the council to make that decision?
So typically, unions don't cover retirees or people who have left employment, so they're not members of their union anymore. So I would see that as a separate issue.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good point.
I have one question. Regarding ARPA funds, how much is not yet committed?
So tonight, what we were looking at with what's been reserved, or in reserve, is $8.2 million. With the spend that we're asking for tonight, that would reduce that amount to about $1.5 million that you would have left in that fund.
All right, thank you for that answer.
I have a
Any other
clarifying
questions?
question.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
So just to clarify again, and Councilmember Bavaro brought up a good point. We are having this conversation, and this recommendation is for represented employees. Those special groups that we refer to, retirees, past employees that are no longer working, and another group that is very limited in number, in that is limited time-shared employees that you and I spoke of earlier.
Right.
These are all non-represented employees.
No, the timeshare.
The timeshare employees
are represented, yes.
Okay,
They're
okay.
part of that
So
group.
the only non-represented employees would be the retirees and the past employees who are no longer working with us. Would a motion be entertained or considered if we take action on the action before us and have the conversation later and then bring it back as was suggested by Councilmember Wright to talk about the non-represented employees? Would that be a motion that would be open?
At this point, I know I do have further questions from council members, but then I would ask for our city attorney to give guidance on how we would proceed. So Councilmember Williams?
I am moved by compassion
Okay.
with,
This is questions. Do you have questions? Or
actually
are
it's a
you-
comment.
Okay.
That I'm thankful for the compassion of our city council that is present here today, who are concerned about each and every one of the citizens of Modesto. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. So any other questions regarding this item? Okay. All right. So, Councilmember Bavaro.
I just had one quick question. Could it be, if it goes to a separate discussion, would it have to be the same dollar amount, or could it be a different formula?
It can absolutely be a different formula.
Thank you.
All right. I'll ask for guidance from our city attorney, Jose Sanchez.
The council is free to consider the resolution as is or as amended. If you're going to be providing direction separate from the resolution, that could be done separately. It doesn't have to be as an amended, you wouldn't have to amend your resolution if that resolution is put up for adoption. You could also provide staff with direction, and you could even take a vote on the direction as well. That way it makes it very clear as to what staff's being directed, and that could be in two different motions, handling the resolution first, or at least considering it, and then it's an option to have a separate motion with direction.
All right. So at this point, I need to go to the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding item 16? Welcome.
Yes, I'd like to speak. Mayor.
Sure.
I am a former employee. I retired at the end of this in September, so I worked diligently, hard, faithfully for all of the public. Every day I stood out there face to face with these people so that I could provide a service that I couldn't terminate. I couldn't stop. I couldn't go home and work from my house because these people needed my service. I worked for the water department so that I could provide good, clean water in the communities that I serviced. So I didn't have that luxury of not showing up every day. And now I'm being told that, yeah, you retired. Sorry, you're not going to get that opportunity to get that compensation that the federal government has granted our beautiful city. And I don't think that's fair. I worked hard. I did my job. And I did it well. And I believe I should be compensated because I showed up every day. Not part-time, not sometime, but every day. And I think everyone that did, even though we retired, we should be compensated fairly. Not more, not differently, but fairly, the same. And I believe that should be considered from the council. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comments. All right, anyone else that would like to speak?
Hi, my name is Gail Ziegler, and I'm a resident of Modesto, and I'm a long-term city employee. I just retired in December after 29 years. My husband's in the audience. He just retired after 36 years. And the same thing, we just want what's fair. So I'm going to read what we have written because I don't want to go off the target. So thank you for considering and listening to us. We'd just like to speak about this premium pay that you're voting on. And, you know, we are recent retirees here tonight that have been forgotten about when it comes to this premium pay. So we just want to be considered and given the same consideration for receiving this pay as the other people who are still with the city. And so what I want to quote from is the Modesto Bee article dated March 5th, when Christina Alger quoted, all Modesto employees who worked through the pandemic did their part to deliver essential services to the community. And then she said, we believe all employees deserve this recognition for the hard work they did. So we don't want to take away anything from the current employees who are here and are still working and have worked through the pandemic, but we also don't want to give up the sacrifices that we went through and everything to go through it too. So we just want to be considered for the same pay. Even though we retired in good standing. We didn't quit. We didn't get fired. You know, we worked every day. We had to go to work every day because we were considered essential. We didn't have a choice. We didn't get pay for sitting at home. So we just want to be able to have that understanding that, you know, what's fair is fair to everybody. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, council. I wasn't planning on coming up here and speaking today, but of course this here is on the agenda. And me as a City of Modesto employee, some of the individuals behind me, we worked side by side for many years. And we worked side by side directly through the pandemic, day in and day out. We all know that an individual that, of course, was more mature in age is a proper way to put it, or respectful way to put it. They were more at risk whenever it came during the pandemic. But these people behind me, they were still there. They were still there without complaining. How do I know? Because one of them was my supervisor. But I'm not doing this just because he's here, but he's already retired. But I'm doing this, and I'm up here speaking on their behalf to take it in consideration, to discuss it, you know, in a future time, to go ahead and give the retirees what I feel they deserve, which is a part of this hazard pay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, anyone else that would like to come forward? All right, I do not see anyone in person. Is there anyone online with comments? Confirming? No? All right, so we will close public comments and ask council for further comments. Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I normally don't get too personal up here, but I think this conversation warrants it. Oftentimes, we're up here just as probably likely as talking heads to folks in the audience, but we're human. And during the pandemic, I worked for Kaiser Permanente, Modesto Medical Facility, alongside, shoulder to shoulder with nurses, doctors. I worked in supply chain management. I was directly boots on the ground. So, you know, not all of us up here were just sitting at home, right? Although I work from home now, I understand both sides of the coin. Same with my father, same with my brother, both engineers for Kaiser, both essential workers. And so we understand, and I think this conversation is worthy of further discussion. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilmember Ricky?
Thanks, Mayor. I want to talk about just a narrative that's been perpetuated in this town for many, many years. And it's kind of, when we talk about, you know, city employee pay, especially, you know, at the higher end, there's a comparison to the median income here in Modesto. And I think that's a valid concern for sure. But I also think it's important to realize that the salaries we pay our city employees, especially at the executive level, they're based on what other cities of our size are paying their employees at the same level. And sure, we could definitely pay less if we wanted to, but it would result in even lower retention in a city that has a epidemic issue with employee retention. So in terms of a bonus specifically, to me, I see it as investing in our employees at all levels who made sacrifices for our city during the COVID epidemic. And I think it also sends a message to our employees that we want you and that we need you. And I think that's really critical. And I think kind of, unmentioned in the kind of vitriolic responses that we get sometimes is the real sacrifice that were made by employees of the City of Modesto. I mean, nobody talks about it, but nearly 2,000 people died in Stanislaus County of COVID. I don't hear enough people talking about the risks taken, the sacrifices made by employees of our city, like Matt Ponce. I mean, Matt is a Modesto police officer who was assigned to our HEART team. That's our homeless engagement and response team. And he was assigned with a guy named Randy Limberg, who was a chat worker. And they worked with the homeless. And they worked every day. And they worked during COVID. And these employees didn't have a choice while they worked. And they both contracted COVID. And Matt and Randy both got sick. And they both were admitted to the hospital as they fought COVID. And Randy didn't survive. And thankfully Matt did, but Matt suffered a career-ending and life-changing injury from COVID. And now he's required to have an oxygen tank with him 24/7 to breathe. And it's affecting, his future, how he interacts with his kids, Our employees gave everything during COVID, and so this is an important thing that we can do for them. I think that's all I have to say about it. Thanks, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. I have Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. For the last 30-plus years, I have my own employee benefit firm, and I don't know how many hundreds of employers or corporations I've represented over those years, and I don't know how many thousands of employees over those years. And the one thing that I come to learn in that profession by watching corporations and employers, the number one valued asset that a corporation or employer has is their employees. And how they treat those employees, not only in opportunities of growth, but financial reward, pays off in retention, and it pays off in loyalty. And for those who may not have that opinion or philosophy and treat the employees as just a body, those employers have high retention, high unemployment, or what do you call it, people leaving their job, low retention. They have issues of training and bringing on new people and the cost factored with that. So what we're doing tonight is the right thing to do. And it matches up with what I do every day in my work life. And with regards to the retirees, that's another separate subject that truly needs to be addressed. And we need to do the right thing.
All right. My comments are that those working out in the community and City Hall staff, continued to provide essential services to our residents throughout the pandemic. We depend on every one of them for our livelihood. and I want them to know that they're valued and that their loyalty is appreciated. I would myself suggest that we have a motion, which I am happy to make, passing this resolution, and then a separate conversation going forward. But we have another comment from Jeremiah Williams.
Everything has been spoken. I just basically wanted to say, Mayor, that thank you to all those who have worked for the City of Modesto over the course of time, and we certainly hope we can do something to help this process.
Just to clarify what the mayor said, I thought I heard our council indicate that it would, if that's the direction we wanted to move in, it would be in two different motions, not stated as one motion as I thought I heard you say.
No, I'm suggesting, I'll make a motion that we have a resolution approving the use of the American Rescue Plan Act funds to provide funding for hazard pay to employees in the total amount of $6,705,000, and to amend the fiscal year 2022-23 non-capital operating budget to create a non-capital project budget in the American Rescue Grants Fund, and authorizing the city manager to carry out the necessary steps to implement the ARPA funding for hazard pay for the intended use described above. So I am making that motion.
Motion to approve?
So I made the motion.
She made
Would
you
you like
wanna
to
second
second it? Second from Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So this item 16 carries unanimously.
I would like to make a motion at this point
All right.
to have council make a motion to take the issue of providing hazard pay to both those employees who worked during this time period and are no longer employed, and the conversation of those who are retired and worked during this time period, for further discussion and information, so that we could decide how we could, just for further discussion.
Second. Point of inquiry.
Yes.
Are you talking about, you say no longer employed, are you referring to the retirees or people who have left this job to go?
Both. Both those special interest groups that expressed their reservation today. I heard two. I heard one, the retirees, and I heard two, those that aren't working here anymore but did at the time of the pandemic.
Can I make an amendment to that motion? Is that how this works?
Yes.
I would make an
I would like for Jose to be taking notes so that we can get clarification on all of this before we vote.
I think that that motion should include only retirees. That's my opinion.
I agree.
Can
I
I clarify that?
Mhm.
Is this just a motion to bring back an item for consideration?
For discussion and consideration, and the motion was for the two groups. I'd like to hear why it should just be one, or why perhaps we could get more information as to why two makes sense.
It was very clear to me, that's why I seconded it.
Point of clarification on this. So we're going to bring it back, discuss both.
Correct.
Those who left for other employment and those who retired. But we can make a decision for discussion purposes of having one or the other or both.
We could talk about whatever we want at that conversation.
Then I can vote for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Alvarez.
I don't have any rebuttal. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Ricky, Vice Mayor Ricky.
I just think one of the options that we could do here is also amend the motion to have staff make some recommendations for us on this subject. So that, I don't know if that's what you mean.
That's part of the process, actually, so that goes without saying.
And just for the record, the request to amend the motion was removed from the floor, correct?
Incorrect. The the amendment would be to only include retirees.
Okay, so you do have that, so there's a motion then to amend the motion. So the process is the motion to amend, if it gets a second, the council votes on whether to amend the motion, and then actually, if that passes, would then vote on that motion as amended, and if it doesn't pass, then would vote on the original motion.
I will second Councilmember Alvarez's motion.
All right, so now we have a member of the public that would like to speak. Is this considered?
It's more of the same item, but it's up to you, Mayor, if you want to reopen it.
Okay, all right, we will open this up to the public. I see Jenny online.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hi. Listening to this, I really appreciate the fact that the city is going to do this. I think it's very important. I think, though, it's important to consider people that left along with people that retired, because both were voluntary, retirement and the other. So I would say, because it's just a discussion item, it's not you're saying that you're going to do this, I think that that's leaving it open for both. And then when you finally get to your, when you're talking about it, you all decide, then you can decide whether it's just for the people that retired or for the people that retired and left. So I would be not hesitant at all if I were there. I think it's important that we consider both the people that left and people that retired. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public at this time? I do not see anyone in person or online. So at this time, we have a motion to amend the previous motion, and this motion is to have a further discussion that would include retirees only. And I had a second from Council Member Bavaro. Will the clerk please call the roll regarding this suggestion and motion and second?
Councilmember Alvarez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky,
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro,
Aye.
Councilmember Williams,
No.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton,
No.
and Mayor Wallen.
No, but the motion carries 4-3. So that will stand.
So now the motion, the original motion is amended. So now you'll take a vote on that motion, which is to only consider the retirees.
All right.
And so that we would take a roll call as well.
Okay, so do I have a motion to?
We have it already.
Oh, we do. That was by
The
who?
original motion has been amended.
Okay,
It has
all
been
right, but so we take Councilmember Scutia Brayton's motion, but it is amended from what she said. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Bavaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
It was
sorry,
already
totally-
seconded.
It was already seconded.
It was already seconded.
By,
Done.
So again, the
Okay,
process
so-
is there was a motion on the table.
Okay, well, I just third it, okay?
it was
Right,
Williams.
so there.
All right, so we had a motion from Councilmember Scutia Brayton and a second from Councilmember Williams, correct?
Yes.
All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Alvarez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ricky,
Can you read the motion to me
Yeah,
that
I'm
we're
so
voting
confused. I don't, we're doing the same thing again.
on? I'd just like to know what we're voting on specifically, because I'm confused now.
What we're voting on, my understanding,
Jose
and you
can-
can please clarify, our city attorney, please clarify, is that we will discuss further with consideration for retirees only.
We voted on that already.
That's what we already-
No, that was an amendment to your motion, which we voted, so you made your
But it was
motion.
articulated.
No, you voted to amend the original motion. The original motion on the floor has been amended. Now you're voting on that motion as amended. So there's, sorry.
What I
about that.
heard someone
Okay.
say is, the motion is to further discussion only for retirees. And
That is the.
to amend the motion to only discuss retirees. And then we
So
went
now I
on
have
and
to vote
voted
again,
to
is
that.
what you're saying. All right. Aye.
So we're doing it again, okay.
Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So it carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next, are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I'm calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.
That was really unfortunate.